They told you Bitcoin was anonymous, untraceable, currency of freedom, a way to escape government surveillance and financial control.
Bankers judging that the only way they can try to pull down inflation is to carry on raising interest rates.
The banks couldn't track it. The government couldn't stop it. Your transactions were private, secure, and completely anonymous. They lied. Because right now, there's an entire industry worth billions of dollars dedicated to tracking every single Bitcoin transaction ever made. Government agencies are using it. Law enforcement is using it. Private companies are using it, and they can see everything. Every wallet, every transaction, every connection. They're building a surveillance network more powerful than anything traditional banks ever had. This is the story of how Bitcoin went from being the currency of anonymity to the most traceable financial system ever created, and how a handful of companies became the most powerful surveillance tools in the cryptocurrency world. Let's start with the fundamental lie that sold Bitcoin to the world: anonymity. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, the promise was clear. No banks, no middlemen, no surveillance, just peer-to-peer transactions that couldn't be traced back to you. Your wallet was just a string of random numbers. No name attached, no identity required, pure financial freedom. And technically, that's true. Bitcoin wallets aren't directly tied to your identity. But here's what they didn't tell you. Every single transaction is recorded on a public ledger called the blockchain, forever, permanently, for anyone to see. Think about that for a second. Every transaction you've ever made with Bitcoin is publicly visible. The amount, the time, the wallet addresses involved, all of it recorded forever in a database that anyone can access. Bitcoin isn't anonymous, it's pseudonymous. And there's a massive difference. Because once someone connects your wallet address to your real identity, every transaction you've ever made becomes visible. Your entire financial history exposed forever. And connecting wallet addresses to real identities, that's exactly what companies like Chainalysis do, for hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Chainalysis started in 2014. Two former economists with a simple idea. If every Bitcoin transaction is public, we can track them. We can analyze patterns. We can connect wallets to real people. We can build a surveillance network more powerful than anything that exists in traditional finance. They were right, and law enforcement agencies immediately saw the potential. Today, Chainalysis works with the IRS, FBI, DEA, SEC, Homeland Security, and over 60 countries worldwide. They've raised over $400 million in funding. They're valued at over $8 billion. And they've helped track down everyone from dark web drug dealers to ransomware hackers to tax evaders. But they're not alone. Elliptic, TRM Labs, CipherTrace, there's an entire industry of blockchain surveillance companies. Together, they've created the most comprehensive financial tracking system ever built. And it's all based on data that's completely public. Your bank transactions, those are private, protected by privacy laws, require warrants to access. Your Bitcoin transactions, anyone can see them, right now, for free. So how do they do it? How do companies turn anonymous wallet addresses into real identities? First, exchange tracking. Every time you buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, Binance, or any major exchange, you provide your identity. KYC laws, know your customer, require it. Your name, address, social security number, bank account, all connected to your Bitcoin wallet address. The moment you send Bitcoin from that wallet, blockchain surveillance companies see it. They know your identity. And now they can track every transaction that wallet makes, forever. Second, clustering analysis. If you use multiple wallets, they can connect them. How? By analyzing transaction patterns. When multiple wallets consistently transact together, they're probably controlled by the same person. Advanced algorithms can cluster thousands of wallet addresses to a single individual. Third, network mapping. They track where your Bitcoin goes. If you send Bitcoin to a known exchange, a merchant, or another identified wallet, that creates a data point. Enough data points, And they can map your entire financial network. Fourth, IP address correlation. When you make a Bitcoin transaction, you're broadcasting it from an IP address. With the right surveillance tools, they can connect that IP address to your physical location, to your identity. The blockchain isn't just a ledger of transactions. It's a surveillance database that never forgets. The most famous example of blockchain surveillance is the Silk Road case. Ross Ulbricht created the dark web marketplace where people could buy drugs, weapons, and illegal services using Bitcoin. He thought Bitcoin's anonymity would protect him. It didn't. FBI agents used blockchain analysis to track Bitcoin flowing into and out of Silk Road. They identified wallet addresses belonging to the site. They tracked those addresses through thousands of transactions. They found connections to exchanges where real identities were registered. They traced one transaction to a server Ulbricht had rented under his real name. One mistake, one connection, and the entire empire collapsed. Ulbricht is now serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years. His Bitcoin fortune, over 144,000 coins worth over $3 billion today, was seized by the government, all because the blockchain recorded everything. But it's not just criminals who need to worry. The IRS has spent millions on blockchain surveillance tools. They've contracted with Chainalysis, Elliptic, and other firms to track cryptocurrency transactions and identify tax evaders. Every Bitcoin transaction is potentially taxable. Bought Bitcoin for $10,000 and sold it for $15,000? That's $5,000 in capital gains you owe taxes on. Sent Bitcoin to pay for something? That's a taxable event too. Received Bitcoin as payment? Taxable income. And the IRS can see it all. They're matching blockchain data with exchange records, bank transfers, and tax returns. They're identifying people who made profits on cryptocurrency and didn't report it. In 2021, the IRS obtained court orders forcing major exchanges to turn over data on millions of users. Names, addresses, transaction histories, everything. They're building cases against thousands of people who thought their crypto gains were private. The blockchain never forgets, and the IRS has the tools to read it. When people realized Bitcoin wasn't anonymous, they created alternatives. Privacy coins, Monero, Zcash, Dash, cryptocurrencies designed specifically to hide transaction details. Monero uses ring signatures and stealth addresses to make transactions untraceable. Zcash uses zero-knowledge proofs to shield transaction data. These aren't pseudonymous, they're actually anonymous, and governments hate them. Major exchanges have delisted privacy coins. Regulators are pushing to ban them completely. The argument? Only criminals need that level of privacy. But here's the irony. By pushing people toward Bitcoin and claiming it's anonymous, governments created a surveillance tool more powerful than anything they could have built themselves. The blockchain is a permanent, public record of financial activity, and surveillance companies have turned it into a gold mine. This isn't just about catching criminals or collecting taxes, it's about control. About surveillance, about creating a financial system where every transaction is tracked, analyzed, and recorded forever. Traditional cash? It's actually anonymous. Hand someone a $20 bill and there's no permanent record, no trace, no surveillance. Bitcoin was supposed to be digital cash. Instead, it became digital surveillance. And now governments are using this as a model for central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Government-controlled digital money that combines the surveillance of blockchain with the authority of central banks. Complete financial visibility, complete control. The surveillance infrastructure built by Chainalysis and others, that's the blueprint. Bitcoin was supposed to be freedom from financial surveillance. It was supposed to be anonymous, untraceable, beyond government control, and millions of people believed that promise. They bought Bitcoin thinking their financial privacy was protected. But every transaction they made was recorded on a public ledger. Every wallet they used was potentially traceable. Every connection they made was visible to anyone with the right tools. And now, there's an $8 billion industry dedicated to tracking it all. government agencies monitoring every transaction, private companies building surveillance networks, the IRS hunting tax evaders, law enforcement tracing criminal activity. The blockchain isn't a privacy tool, it's a surveillance database, and it's permanent. So the next time someone tells you Bitcoin is anonymous, remember, it's the most traceable financial system ever created, and someone is always watching.